Now, because a day is a day that ends in Y, I thought we switch it up a little bit. I thought we spice it up. I thought we throw some gasoline on the fire, get things going, right? Get that fire started. Now it seems like we are starting to build a little bit of a community here, right? We got like the regulars, right? That are always viewing the videos on a daily basis, and I touched on this in one of the last videos. Is that what I want to do is I'd like to, build some kind of communication, like a Q&A, right, with me and the rest of the player base. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be just me like answering these questions. Getting the whole community involved, getting everybody involved, and everybody's thoughts, kind of picking everybody's brain, getting everybody else's gears turning. That's what's gonna it's gonna create greatness, right? Because a collective mind is much better than just one, right? No matter who you are. So yeah. So the idea is you guys leave a comment, and then I'll pull up the comment, in the video live and touch base on it. Now this is an ABX video, right? This is Ghost Rider ABX. But first, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, and for those who just want to see the run, I'll leave the skip time, the time that the run actually starts, and then you can just kind of skip ahead to that part in the video. But for everybody else who who wants to stick around for a little bit longer, then I got something for you. So I have a few comments that I kind of just pulled out just at random, some that I was just going through and said, okay, that sounds like a good question. Let's we'll get a little back and forth on that. And I might just at the beginning of every one of my videos do this, or maybe some here and there, and then I maybe even dedicate a whole video to doing it. I don't know. We're just kind of winging it. We're gonna see what works. All right. It's all organic and just is a beautiful thing. So, first one up. Hey Godzilla. Well, this is okay from now. Forgive me with these names. Some that I know I'm gonna butcher. I'm not even gonna attempt. I'm just gonna call this guy Ahmed. Okay. So he says, "Hey Godzilla, great video as always. The weekly Q&As seem to be a good idea. Can't wait for them. Who would you recommend for a rage to push null stage 20? I've already got Silver Surfer, Odin, and Ghost Rider raged up. I was thinking Bullseye, but was wondering if there's a better option." Well, okay, let's go ahead real quick and let's go to World Boss. And okay, so up to stage 20, I'm guessing that you're specifically talking about 15 to 19, right? So I'm going to answer in terms of that. And a lot of the characters that you would use from 15 to 19, you could actually use from 10 to 14, right? So let's look at who's available. And I actually did already peek at this before I pulled this up, and I would say Bullseye. I'd say Bullseye for sure for a rage. Moon Knight with an energy is really good. Definitely do not give that guy a rage. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. It is an amazing difference. Sentry doesn't perform all that well with rage either. And I can't think of any one of these characters that, besides Odin. Well, Odin, you can't even use Odin here. Odin's, he's an Asgardian. So, he's not human, right? Maybe Carnage. Maybe Carnage, but Carnage really hasn't been doing all that great of work for me. Although I know he works with an energy, and me, man, I wanna put energy on everybody now. So I actually have to go through and count all of the energies that I have, and then kind of make like a list for myself. Okay, here's who I want one on, and then blah 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 blah. But there's some that I don't know how well they're going to work, like Carnage. I don't know how well he's going to work with one. He might work extremely well. I just don't know that yet because I haven't tested it. Even characters like Thor, Quicksilver, Mr. Fantastic, right? There's Gwenom right there. I know she might work really well with an energy. I hear that she works even well with a proc. Her rage proc is pretty inconsistent, but, she does decent damage. When her rage proc goes off, she does decent damage. The thing about Gwenom is that on her fourth skill at the end of it, right, there's when she comes down at the very end, there's that, your phone kind of vibrates a little bit, and there's, that explosion. It doesn't do damage to Null when he's in the throne, but when he comes out of the throne from 30 to 0 bars, it does do damage. It's very strange. But, okay. So, Bullseye. Bullseye, you're right. You got that right. Bullseye is really good. The team up that I would use, like, for, like, you know, 15 to 19 is probably, you could use, like, Bullseye lead. I like to use Bullseye lead, Doctor Strange, and Ghost Rider. And Doctor Strange is really good from you know, 60 to 30, and then he's good for the very end too, from 7 bars to 0. I could actually, I you know, my count's a little bit different than yours, but you know, I can you know, take him down to 0 bars with just Strange. So if everybody else dies and I have Strange alive and I have that tier 3 ready, when he goes into that, you know, like before Thor comes, that little part, then I'm golden. But, you know, that's just me. Your account might be different depending on your Conqueror level, so on and so forth. Okay, next question. Or comment, rather. Again, I'm not going to butcher the name here, but you know who you are. I want to see Sentry vs. Null rematch. Hell yeah. Yeah, I do too, actually. I'm very curious. Now, I know the time for Null in the last video with energy is a bit quicker than Sentry's. You know, time, but my Conqueror level has changed, so you can't take that. You can't use that number and say that Sentry's going to perform, you know, the same. He's not. It's going to be a little bit different. It might not be much different, but it's going to be a little bit different. But yes, I will be bringing that. They deserve a rematch. No, you know, man, he's upset. He wants to reclaim. He wants that title because he thinks he deserves it. And I don't know, man. He just might. I think he might. All right, next. Can we get 2 attack stats in Awaken cards or just 1? Just 1. It's only on the very last stat. The very last stat is just 1. You can get either physical, energy, or all attack. Obviously, you want the all attack. Alright, next. I say the energy CTP with beatdown is better for Moonstone because with it, the skills take a long time to recharge, and in that time, you can move to load the beatdown. Yes, Moonstone is like the ideal candidate for beatdown. So, like Null, he's not very good with beatdown because you're constantly in his skills. So, you know, when you're thinking about putting beatdown on a character, you know, you need to, you gotta, you know, play with them a little bit and see exactly how they operate. And if it looks like, you know, like you don't have a lot of time to run around, then they're probably not a good candidate. Like I'm thinking Thor might actually be good for beatdown because you have a little bit of downtime, you know, between his skills. So like somebody like that could possibly work. But yes, Moonstone is an ideal candidate for it. She's amazing for beatdown. Same with Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is really good for beatdown as well because you have that, you know, everything's canceled, all cancel, and then, you know, you run around for a little bit. So hope that clears that up for you. All right, next one. All right, check it. 1, 2 on the mic. Brilliant CTP of energy. All attack 24%, 200% proc. Mighty CTP 12% and all attack 200 proc. Mighty CTP 5% beatdown, 200 proc. Moonstone Null Sentry. Who gets what? Go. Okay. I'm gonna say this. Give the beatdown to Moonstone. Moonstone with beatdown. I tested this. I had this basically the same exact Brilliant, except mine had a 230 proc, but it had the same all attack stat, and I tested it against. Watch my video. Watch my video on Moonstone. You'll see exactly what the numbers are. But the one with the beatdown is going to perform, I think, even better. I think that one performs better than that Brilliant, or it was just about the same. So you could use that Brilliant. You could put that Brilliant. I'd say put that Brilliant on Null. Put that Brilliant on Null because I think that Null isn't, you know, he's not going to do that well with beatdown. I'm still yet to test one with all attack on him, but I think, but yeah, so no beatdown on Null because you're not moving around, right? So I think the Brilliant for Null, and then for Sentry, I would re-roll that one with 12%. I'd re-roll that, and it's going to serve you. I know there's such a pain to roll, but it's going to serve you well to roll that and get beatdown on that. For Sentry. Sentry performs very well with beatdown, and Sentry, again, he's a really good character for, you know, for in that in between time to recharge that bar, to fill that bar up, because you're canceling all of his skills, and then you have to wait for, you know, the 3 to come back off cooldown, and in that time you've charged that bar up. So I would do that. Reroll the 12%. Brilliant on Null, and then the Beatdown on Moonstone. Okay, next question. Oh, your name. P-Funk609. That was P-Funk609. From Jason Chen. If I get a CTP selector from Legendary Battle, should I choose Rage if I have a spare energy? So if you have a spare energy, I mean, I don't know how many spares you have or who exactly you have energy on. Me personally, if I had a CTP selector, actually the last 3 CTP selectors that I had a couple in my inventory, and I have another one that I haven't used yet, but I chose energy for me because, well, I have a lot of rages. Personally, I would choose energy. You, depending on, you know, how many rages you have and who has rage, like Ghost Rider needs a rage, Odin needs a rage. Outside of those 2 characters, you know, depending on if you care a lot about ABX, certain characters definitely need rages to perform well. But if you really don't, and you're just trying to, you know, if you're trying to perform well for Null, then I would go energy. Energy seems to be working much better on many more characters. So hopefully that helps you out, buddy. Jason Chen. And okay, we got a double here, a duo, bam, 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 duo question. All right, we got this guy here. I'm not gonna attempt the name, but you know who you are. The AA will call you. Well, if stage 35 requirement is villain, you could use Null, Gwenom, and Carnage super synergy team up. Yeah, man. I think that could work. I think that could work. And I wish I had a limited amount of energy because I think energy would work on all 3 of them. Rage just seems to be underperforming for me for Null. And, you know, we're still yet to find out, you know, what the conclusion is with if Rage is getting some kind of penalty or the effect's just not working as well for Null if you have Pierce on your cards. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about that. But yeah, that could work. That could work for sure. This guy says, continue crafting those cards. Want to see the best, most amazing ones possible. Yes, I think it's been. So I posed the question, you know, should I stop crafting and you know, try to, you know, give you guys a better comparison for maybe where your account's at. But everybody seems to, there's been an overwhelming majority of support from me continue crafting my cards. And I actually haven't even got around to doing my rolls. I'm going to try to get that recorded and bring you guys the results on that. Actually, I have something really spicy up my sleeve, and I hope it works out. I hope it works out the way that I want it to, and I'll be throwing that in a video, and I think you guys will really like it and find it very, very useful. I don't want to say it because I don't want anybody else stealing my idea because it's a really, really good one. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Oh, somebody said that Pierce, like, of course you're going to, I commented on my Null video, like, of course you're going to do a ton of damage because you have Pierce on your cards. Listen, Pierce doesn't have much effect in ABX. Somebody said that for every 1% of Pierce, it's going to do 1% of damage. I don't even know if that's true because the more Pierce I got on my cards, I really did not see an increase in my ABX score. It's all about the attack on your cards. Pierce doesn't do much for ABX, so that's just false. It's false advertising. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. It's already running a little long, so I'm gonna try to scoot through the build, showing my cards, the whole thing, and then play this run for you guys. Okay, so it's all about Ghost Rider, and I'll show you the team up in the Alliance Battle, you know, section. Okay, so my build on him, I have very good build. He has 18 Odin's Blessings. You know, he's just missing 2 there. Fully Awakened ISO 8 set, and he has a Rage. I think he could perform well with a Judgment. Somebody wanted me to test him with a Judgment. I might do that, maybe. We'll see. And if Rage is getting a penalty, right, for Null, it should work the same way for Judgment then, right? So, like, if that's the case, actually, maybe I will do that just to see if that is, you know, because if that's the case, then Judgment should perform way better than Rage, right? And it shouldn't be just a matter of, you know, putting the energy on. It should be any other CTP. So that just came to mind. I think maybe I'll actually go ahead and do that and see what the difference is, because if Judgment doesn't perform better than Rage, then I throw that theory out the window. Okay, this guy, all his stats are maxed, and he does have a mythic uniform. All the options, I believe, are mythic. Yes, they are indeed. And for his skills, you know, I'm not even gonna really go into, you know, the buffs on his skills, because it's more or less a spam fest for Ghost Rider. I found that, you know, it's very difficult to keep the proc, you know, constant with a constant rotation, because he has all this residual fire damage. And it's, you know, if you try to, chances are, you know, the residual fire damage is just gonna reactivate the proc again. And I think it's best just to not hold the skills, charge that tier 3 up as quick as possible, and let it fly, because he has a lot of damage spread out. That's just my findings. I've seen him work with like a set rotation. You know, I've seen a run with a set rotation, but you'll see how I do this. And I scored about 14.6 million, right? And that's not attributed to Pierce. It's just attributed to my build and the high attack on my cards. But again, you should be able to score. You should at least be able to score half that, right? So again, for null, same concept. You should be able to score half that with much less. And this is the team up that you're going to use for this specific day, anyways. So you don't have to, you know, negate points for that. Now my cards, I have 141.8 energy attack. And yes, I'm going to try to do this tonight, maybe, you know, if I have time to hop back on here and do these rolls, because I still have all those cubes. All right. Oh, so here, I'll tell you his. So without team up, he has 55,000 energy attack. All right, so let's, actually, you know what? Before I play the run, the actual team is this right here. Ghost Panther lead, Richard Rider, and then Ghost Rider. Yes, sir. I mean, you know, you could maybe do this, you could maybe do that, but you know, this is what I ran with. Actually, I didn't even try this. You know, that could work just as well, maybe better, but that's the team up that I actually use for squad battle as well. Okay, so here, let's get this run up. Let's get this going, because we're already 17 minutes into the video. But don't worry, I'll put the time in the beginning. I'll put the time at which the video actually starts. And I'm not going to put a rotation up. This is same, you know, some characters, you know, super strict rotation, and others not so much. I found this guy not so much with a super strict rotation. So that's just my take on it. Somebody else might have a different take. My apologies. I had a something very, very strange happen. The ABX run, it went like this, and it was all crazy like. All right, but here we go. Let's play this track, baby. Let's rock and roll. So yeah, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That a more it's kind of like a spam fest, which is good in a way, because you know, you can just, you know, a lot of these things you just kind of have to get a feel for it. Okay, so one thing, I start with 5, 2 into the 3. I get that 3 going, you know, right at the start. I used to run doing 3, 5, 2 cancel into the 4, but I found this does a little bit better, does a little more damage. It was just like by the first minute, I noticed I had more damage, so keep that in mind. But you could do either one. I don't think many people have a hard time actually capping with Ghost Rider, but you know, we'll see, you know, once the cap gets raised, what it actually gets raised to. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's really not all that much to really say for me to comment on this. It's like I said, you know, it's kind of a spam fest. I mean, if you can, by holding a skill for like maybe a second, I wouldn't hold a skill for longer than 2 seconds, you know, for things to line up properly. But yeah, like right there, I hit the 1 instead of going right into the 5 and then into the tier 3, just to line that 5 and the tier 3 proc up a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, you know, 4.25 million by the first roar before the first minute. Let's see, when am I actually at by the first minute? 4.75. So I got what, 500,000 in like 5 seconds. Is that right? No, not. Anyways, I feel like sometimes I'm on the spot with the camera and I just like I freeze up and I can't do math. It's really, really strange. I promise I'm not that much of a knucklehead. But yeah, I mean, like I said, don't hold skills. That's what I found to be better, because all that residual fire damage, it's most likely just going to reactivate your proc. I found it to be really annoying. I tried doing this like a set rotation, and I just kept on getting bombarded by the residual fire damage activating that proc. So I just said, you know what, to heck with it. I'm just gonna you know, kind of use my best sense of, you know, just like, you know, when to use skills. 2 is not so much like a super insta cancel. I let it go for like a second, and so, you know, keep that in mind. 3 I never cancel. 4 I never cancel. 5, obviously, you know, you can cancel as soon as you see that fireball spit up in the air. And then tier 3 is basically an insta cancel. Yeah, you don't want to let that play out. 1 you can insta cancel. Sometimes I let it play depending on where the cooldown is on the skills. And then here, yeah, I hold the tier 3 and I let that fly. This actually lines up pretty nice that there was no proc going. So if you go, yeah, no tier 3, 5, 2 into the 4, and then I try to get that 3 into the proc. I like getting the 3 into the proc. It has really good damage. You know, I've seen rotations where it's like, you know, they start off with 5, 2, 4, and then by the time the 4 ends, there's no proc. But then they go into the 3, and you're getting the 3 off proc. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. But yeah, look at this. In 4 seconds, got like 600,000 in damage. It's pretty insane. Yeah, there's the run, guys. 14.6 million. I think that's pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't run this. This was only maybe a handful of runs, so I'm guessing I could probably even hit 15. I've never hit 15 before. This might even be the highest. This might even be the highest that I've ever gotten to, which is pretty crazy. To be able to score 14.6 million in ABX, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And again, like I said, the Pierce doesn't have much effect in ABX. The most that I would actually believe that you could convince me of is 1 per 1, as far as percent of Pierce, which is going to do in terms of damage. But I don't think if it's any more than that, if that's what it is at all. But so yeah, there it is, guys. There's the run, 14.6 million. I'm wondering if I should try to go for 15, just to do it, just to get it. Maybe next time. Maybe next time when I have more time, because I have another video that I want to get to for you guys. Something pretty cool. All right, there it is. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions with, about like just Ghost Rider's play style and all that, and also what I did in the beginning with the comments. Let me know if you guys like that or not. Now I know you could just go ahead and skip through the video and get to the run if that's what you like, and others can decide to just let the video play and all that. But yeah, let me get your feedback on that. And also, if you have a question or something you want me to comment on, or even like a roast, right? So somebody else wanted me to roast their account, and I'm gonna do that in the next video. So if you want me to highlight you and put you up here, leave a comment and say something interesting, and I'll do that. So in any case, you better stay tuned, you stay breezy, but most of all, you stay safe out there, friend. Peace.